What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the What's Good in Wrestling podcast, the second episode where we've made it quite far, considering some of our other podcasts. We went like one episode deep, but thank you guys for coming back. And to the new listeners, welcome. My name is Andrew Pillock alongside Britton Harrison. How's it going today, sir?
It's going pretty well, man. Just a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot has transpired since the last episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, more news of released wrestlers. So honestly, man, like we might as well just get right into it. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of what's been going on, but we want to give our opinion, especially because there are a few pretty big names on this list, and maybe we can have some predictions on where these individuals might go. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about a certain member of this podcast going to a WrestleMania pre-sale ticket party. And that should be very interesting, meeting one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So we will get into that after this first topic. But the releases. So this is sad, man. WWE is cutting back on so much of their talent. And like I said briefly there's a lot of big names. So we'll run through. I've got the list here. I believe this is the list of the last cuts. If there's more, maybe somebody in the comments can say it, or maybe Britton, you'll remember some that I missed here. But Frankie Monet, Ember Moon, Jesse Kamea, and again, I could be pronouncing some of these names wrong. I apologize. Katrina Cortez, Jeet Rama, Oni Lorcan, Trey Baxter, Zeta, Ramier, Scarlett, B-Fab, Gren Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, Karrion Kross, Harry Smith, Nia Jax, Eva Marie, Keith Lee, and Mia Yim. And they were all released due to budget cuts. What is your immediate reaction to some of the names on that list?
Number one, Keith Lee. I mean, we should have seen it coming since he debuted on the main roster. Like, he started out hot. The crowd knew him. They loved him because of his moments in Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble. You already had a made star. You bring him in, he beats Randy Orton in a really quick match when Orton's in the middle of a title feud with Drew McIntyre. And then what's he do? He's off TV for months. And how you don't capitalize on that hype after that moment with Roman, the Survivor Series, with the Royal Rumble moment with Brock. There's so many. It's just like we were talking about Bray Wyatt, another case of just such a missed opportunity. But unfortunately, not. It wasn't just him. It was his fiance Mia Yim too. I think that's kind of crappy to release a couple at the same time. But
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Who else? There was
Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross. Yeah. Another one. His entrance in NXT so good, and then they take away everything that's good about it, and then it's like, okay, start over. It's like, how are you supposed to really do that? Whenever you get so comfortable in something and it gets you so over, it's not their fault whenever they start over like that and the crowd doesn't get behind them.
Yeah, there's honestly, man, like I said, we had to start off, like you said, we had to start off with Keith Lee. I mean, I'm really upset about that. Like you said, he was already a star. He looked really good. He was a like super heavyweight with like a cruiserweight move set at some points. Like the guy could move. Like if you put him and Rey Mysterio in a match, dude, like they move at the same speed almost. Like
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane. Like the guy
Yeah.
was just an insane athlete, just gifted, so gifted. He had the look. And you know what? I was like, they gave him that Bearcat gimmick. I was like, okay, fine. Put the Bearcat gimmick on him. Let him run through people. Fine. But eventually, maybe there's going to be a payoff where he's a face and it all comes back and he's just, Keith Lee again, wishful thinking. But we didn't even get to see the Bearcat stuff. Like we only seen a couple matches and they were like, oh, well, this doesn't work. And they cut him. It's like, you're not even giving this guy a chance. You didn't give him a chance to beat Keith Lee. You put a gimmick on him and it didn't work. It's the same thing with Karrion Kross. Like they took away the girl, which she also was released, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett, she was also released,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because they worked so well together. You give him that stupid outfit. The first time I seen that, I was like, okay, I'm going to Twitter immediately. That was my first reaction. I was like, I'm going to see, and man, I wasn't surprised by the reaction because I literally remember looking at the TV and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is really not good. But man, those two, and man, this one really pissed me off. But Ember Moon, um,
Yeah.
oh my, how how do you not keep Ember Moon in this company?
I mean, I guess they're concerned about injuries, but I mean, there's plenty of other people who have had far worse and more severe injuries. Um, I feel bad for her because she had been kind of vocal on Twitter about how she was getting back into ring shape, and then she was injured for a while and then came back and then like got re-injured, like another big injury.
Yeah,
And then I think she was really close to coming back again, and then they cut her. And that's just unfortunate, man. She's somebody who, like, whenever she first started, like, I wasn't familiar with her indie work, but like whenever she got to NXT, I was like, she is really dope. Like that eclipse, that is such an impressive move. There's not
yeah,
a lot of people who could pull that off. And just another thing of wasted opportunity. They really don't know what they have. There's a reason
yeah.
why these people come to WWE and are able to get jobs there is because of their work rate before they got there, and the reasons that they just like to mess it all up and make it their own, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I loved her entrance, her theme, everything about Ember Moon. Like it just was like, oh, okay, like she's legit. Like her and Bailey, like they had a pretty good feud when they were fighting for the title. I thought that she was just a star. Like you could make Ember a face for her whole career, and I don't think anybody would get tired of her.
No.
She was a star. She was good. She was gifted in the ring. She's the type where I think she's gonna get really healthy for this 90 days and she's going to pop up on AEW and it's going to be insane. You want to talk
Yeah.
about a pop? Ruby Soho, no disrespect, good pop, good for her. Ember Moon will get a massive pop and it's going to be her and probably Britt Baker, I'm assuming, even if she's not champ. You stand her in front of Britt Baker because then you go, okay, this is the star and this is the new star because she goes right to the top of that division. I'm sorry, again, no disrespect. Ember Moon goes straight to the top in AEW, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but she's incredible. She's
she's
incredible.
she's somebody you definitely build a women's division around,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, exactly. But no, that one really upset me. Harry Smith never got a chance to get back into the ring with WWE. I thought it would be really interesting to see her or him get back with like maybe do something with Natalia at some point again, just to, they
Yeah.
probably both wanted it. You know what I mean? Like get maybe into a mixed tag team thing. You never know. Just do something like that, or have him just go on a nice little singles run on NXT 2.0. He probably would have fit in pretty well there with the characters that they were creating there. Nia Jax is an interesting one because this is a bit of a different release. So you and I were texting, I think, briefly about the whole Nia Jax thing because at first I thought it was due to vaccination, and it still might be, but there's also talk about about her taking time off because of mental health. I don't know if those things are mixed together, but an interesting note, apparently in AEW, the wrestlers are not required to be vaccinated. Whether or not that might open a door for Nia Jax to go there, again, I don't want to talk too much. This isn't a political podcast, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Nia Jax? I hope mentally though, like out of anything, I hope that she does well. You know what I mean? Like I don't want her dealing with anything like that. So I wish her the best, 100%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo your statement there because, like, I don't know if it's one thing or the other. If it's mental health related and they release her over that, then that's really shitty.
Yeah,
But you know, if it's the other thing, I can't really feel too bad.
yeah,
But yeah, I hope it sucks either way. Somebody loses their job, but it's just kind of a crappy situation, no matter which way you look at it.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
unfortunate, and she's somebody who was really improving. Like the Shayna Baszler stuff, it was ending, and she was getting past that. She had a good match with Charlotte. She like shoot fought Charlotte,
Yeah. Hey man, people
and
loved that.
yeah, and she was winning people over because a lot of people really didn't like her, and unfortunately, it's just another one. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. I actually a couple years ago when I was thinking of doing something that we're going to be doing now on this channel with like the fantasy booking and stuff like that, I had prepared a video that I was going to talk about her. Like I was going to rebrand her and like not like rebrand her, but like rebook her. I wanted like what I was going to do was I was like, okay, you send her back to the PC, right? To the performance center. Get her with whoever you need to. Put her with Natalia because listen, you could say whatever you want about Natalia. She's trained like half of the women that are in the division right now. Like she's like legitimately trained most of the women that are there.
Yeah.
She's helped them at least from what we've seen. I mean, everybody says she's like a leader. So be like, listen, watch how she wrestles. She wrestles smart, might not be the flashiest, she might not be the best anymore in terms of fans and whatever, but she knows how to wrestle. Like she's very gifted. So it's like you stick her with Natalia, stick her with whoever down there, get her back into being not so green in the ring. Like you said, she was improving. I wanted her to go to NXT. I wanted her to run through the entire women's division, like literally not lose a single match, win the belt, and then just literally show up on Raw and trash the belt. I know that sounds terrible, but I wanted her to literally be like, I did that just to get back here. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
build her up like that. Have her against Charlotte, a Bailey, Becky, whoever it is. And then you've made her into a super villain because she just trashed the NXT women's title. And then now she's like, basically like, okay, now it's my turn. Like that's what I wanted them to do with her. But
Yeah. And the door's always open for her to come back, anybody to come back. It's just she's one of those people who like she seems like a nice person, but just not a Nia Jax fan. I don't think there's really anything she could do that would interest me, even though she was improving. But I she just one of those for me, really.
yeah, I was curious to see if they ever tried to get her into that bloodline feud. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that they were gonna try to get her and Naomi. Now, I'd rather Naomi in the bloodline. Let's be real.
Right.
If they're adding a female, she would kill it in there. She's
Yeah.
so
She should have
talented.
already been in the bloodline.
Yeah, yeah, she should. She really should be. But no, I mean, I wish Nia Jax the best if it is mental health related. I mean, I just wish her the best in general. But I mean, I don't really agree on her stance with the vaccination. But again, this isn't a
Mhm.
political podcast. Another one that's really interesting is Eva Marie. So WWE around the time that they re-signed her, they were letting go of a lot of really talented people as well, and they brought her back. And people were kind of like, okay, so why are we investing our money into Eva Marie? Now, again, no disrespect. I thought, okay, let's give her a chance. If she comes back and she does really well, then everything is good. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched more than a minute of anything that she's done since she came back to WWE. And clearly it didn't work because she's gone already. So, like, what was
Yeah.
up? Like, why did they even bring her back?
Everybody was like, "Oh, I guess this time will be different." Like there have been videos of her training, and like she was actually not that bad. I think Brian Kendrick helped train her,
Yeah.
and she just comes back and does the exact same thing that she was doing 5 years ago. Literally the exact same thing. Brings in Dewdrop. Don't really know what the point of that was because now Dewdrop's her own thing, But somebody's calling me.
That's okay.
Let me just decline. Sorry.
It's all good.
Um, I thought I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. They keep calling me. It's my mom. She won't stop. Um, Eva Marie. Sorry, what was I saying?
That they brought in Dewdrop and
Yeah, they bring in Dewdrop for literally no reason. They do this Alexa Bliss feud, and now Alexa's gone, Eva's gone, and now Dewdrop's just running around attacking Bianca Belair. I guess that's the whole blow off for this whole thing. I don't know. I feel bad for Eva because I feel like she was somebody who, even whenever she wasn't in WWE, like she was somebody who would stand up for wrestling. I remember uh, some adult star was like really trashing wrestling one
yep.
time, and she went to bat for him. And I don't really agree with the way they treated her. I don't know why the reason she got cut this time was. I guess budget cuts, but I feel bad for her. She's one of the ones that I really do feel bad for.
Yeah, me too. And again, I do think she is a good person and whatever. And again, who knows if the door's open for her to come back a third time? It's happened before. I mean, wrestlers come and go. Um, but I I mean the whole thing is, and I think we touched on this in the last podcast. And no disrespect to the other wrestlers that we didn't mention here. I wish them all the best. That's why I wanted to at least list all their names. But these were people that we just have an actual opinion on. I wish them absolutely all the best. in what they're going to do next in their career, because I'm sure a lot of them will sign with other companies. There's a lot of companies that could use talent right now, and they're definitely going to help. Like an Oni Lorcan, he's going to be booked. He's a good wrestler, so that's really good for them. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of bookings, and look what it's done for like a Matt Cardona. The guy just reinvented himself. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
But
they'll all land on their feet definitely.
yeah, like an Impact, they could chew up a bunch of these people. Like a Nia Jax would be wicked in Impact. Just let her go over there and do her thing, and maybe she reinvents herself. And who knows? I mean, they can do whatever they want. I guess creatively
Mm.
they'll have a little bit more of a chance. But
Drew
I guess
McIntyre did.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I guess the one thing that we can also talk about here is, like I said, we mentioned it before. Are they getting ready to sell? Because they look like they're coming in with record profits. Their budget is insane. I mean, there's rumors that it could have been Disney that they could be selling to, which if that happens, man, I, I don't know where I love, I mean, who doesn't love Disney? But like, I don't really want the WWE to be like a Disney product, to be honest with you. It's gonna turn back into like NXT Kids and like maybe like what was it, Sunday morning or Saturday morning
Saturday Morning
showdown?
Slam, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that show was. It's like the TV version of Slam Attacks trading cards. I don't really know what's gonna happen. Like, do you think they're gonna sell, and like who? Like I don't know.
I feel like that's the only explanation because why else would you bring in all this talent just to release them? You know, but I would say NBC. I think the writing's kind of been on the wall since they moved the network over to Peacock. There's something there with NBC, obviously. Disney, I don't know. I haven't really heard too much about that, but Disney owns just about everything now: Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, whatever. So it really would not surprise me.
Yeah.
But man, how it's going to be so different because it's always been Vince McMahon. So like whenever somebody else gets their hands in it, like what is it? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? Are we going to wish that Vince still had control? I don't know, man. It's that's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah, because in my eyes, I mean, a dream scenario would be, and obviously, first of all, I'm hoping that Triple H's health is good, because I know that he's been dealing with some stuff. But I'm almost wondering if there would be a sale, and they would be like, "Yo, like, is Triple H gonna like take over?" Because if Triple H was taking over, the company got sold, but they're still like, listen, we want like Shawn Michaels and Heyman and these guys. Like, I hope it gets sold. Like, imagine somebody over there is like like whoever has a lot of money over there clearly is a wrestling fan, like a pure like old school wrestling fan, and goes, yeah, let Heyman, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, let these guys do their thing. We'll have the control, but like they can do their thing. If that's the case, poof, this show's gonna get so much better. Like Triple H, the way he was running NXT, Shawn Michaels, NXT 2.0, he's doing a pretty good job from what I've
Yeah.
seen. And then of course Heyman is just like one of the best minds in wrestling history. Maybe again, Vince now is not the greatest, but like Vince has created some of the greatest things to ever happen in this company. Let's
Oh
be
yeah.
real. But Paul Heyman is up there. He's very much up there. So if that's the case, I'm sold. I'm in. But if it's like, oh, like we're just gonna have somebody who's like, whatever, we're just gonna have a bunch of different people and a bunch of different writers, and we're just gonna do whatever, it might not come out as a good product.
And that's almost like an AEW thing. You know, Tony Khan, old school wrestling fan, just he's the big backer, but he's going to leave it in the hands of somebody like a Cody and the Bucks to figure out the right things to do. I wish they would just sell it and like Vince would take his money and just go retire and be happy and go live the rest of his life and let Triple H and Stephanie and Shawn Michaels take over and Heyman, whoever. But man, I just feel like until even if they sell it, and I'm not trying to be like morbid or anything here or rude or wish anything, but until Vince McMahon dies, like he's always going to be around.
Yeah.
I feel
And I
like
mean, like you said, we're not wishing for him to pass
no,
or anything like that. Like the man has created some of the greatest things ever. Do I agree with everything that man does, even outside of the ring? No. But I mean, the guy has given me my childhood as well.
yeah,
So I'm not gonna sit here and wish anything bad
right,
on him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see the future of the company because at one point, do you remember back? I don't know if it was like, man, I feel like all the years have just kind of mashed together the last few years, but like they had that big thing where like they came out into the ring and were like, we're promising a different direction and like things are gonna get better around here. I was like, oh boy, like here we go. And then
yeah.
we're right back to square one.
I remember people talking about that on Twitter, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, well then Seth won the Universal title and Becky won the two belts, and then Kofi Mania happened, and then it's like, okay, like it happened, but did it sustain? You know, like they were like, okay, we gave you what you want. Now we're going back to the same old BS that we've been giving you for the past 10, 15 years."
Yeah.
And it's like whenever they come out and say stuff like that, it just goes through one ear and out the other for me because it's they're so full of it. The McMahon family, thankful for everything they've done for me, you know, to be a wrestling fan, and but they're just they irk me so
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
so freaking much.
The only way that I would believe, and I should have mentioned this guy's name too. The only way that I believe that they something like that would actually make me go, "Oh, we're good," is if they did that same thing, except in the ring talking was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Paul Heyman, and a guy like maybe Tyson Kidd. If they're standing in the ring and they go, "Listen, we have it. We are going to control this stuff." And I would be like, okay, now I'm intrigued because these people are the wrestling minds. A guy like I don't think a lot of people realize Tyson Kidd, he's actually starting to
Yeah,
do some big things backstage, and he's a from what I've seen and I've met him too, fantastic guy, just a class guy, and amazing wrestler. Too bad his career was cut short, but man, I would be very intrigued if that group was standing in the ring and said, "We have the control right now," then I would believe it.
yeah,
But
dude, that would bring so many more fans back to the product too. I feel like even if it was just a 1 or 2 week boom period, like those fans, some of them would stick back around.
yep,
That would be huge.
yeah. Honestly,
But
man, it's moments like that where like you do something like that and then you hit like Cena's music or you hit Brock's music or something like that. Then it's like, okay, now we're off to the races here. Like they need to do something like that. And again, this is all again, we're I think that a lot of this we're going to be fantasy booking a lot on this podcast, but that's the fun of it. I mean, that's really one of the biggest reasons why we started doing this. To kind of close off the first part of this show here with those releases, a few guesses. I guess I'll name off a few wrestlers for you, probably the ones that we talked about, and I want you to tell me where you think they will end up. Okay. So we'll start. I guess we'll just start with Ember Moon.
AEW.
Okay. I also believe it's AEW. Oni Lorkin.
See, I'm not too familiar with him.
Okay.
Honestly, I know he was Biff Busick, so I could see him going back maybe to AEW, but not like in a big role. Maybe like a darker elevation kind of guy.
Yeah, I was thinking he's gonna be like a guy that shows up on a bunch of different random shows. Like he'll be on like a GCW and then he'll end up in like an
Yeah,
Impact and then like he'll do a bunch of stuff. I actually do like his in-ring work. I'd like to see him go and see if he can stick it in like somewhere in Japan or something like that. Because again, like guys that like you might not think have that like prestige of like going to fight some big names in Japan. Sometimes they just need a little bit of a boost and they go there and they just have all these killer matches and you go, where did that come from? Well, they weren't allowed to show it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that's a place that's just a random guess. Um oh, and we didn't mention BFAB, part of the Hit Row.
yeah.
She
Didn't even give that a chance.
they got called up to the main roster and they're like, "Hey, congratulations, you're released."
Yeah, and apparently she had just signed a new deal like the week before.
Yeah,
Okay,
insane.
like what is the point? Like that you didn't even give that a chance. Like that was big in NXT from what I saw.
Yeah. And I mean, there's already like the rapper gimmick. Like there's that guy in AEW that kind of has like that rapper gimmick. I'm
Yeah,
not educated
Max
on.
Caster.
So I don't really know if she would work in AEW, maybe an Impact. I don't know. Or maybe they do something where she comes in and works with that guy in AEW. Who knows? Um
Yeah,
it
true.
could that could work. Scarlett and I guess do you want to put Karrion Cross and Scarlett as a package, or do you think that they're going elsewhere? Like, do you think that they're going to split up?
I put them as a package because I think they're either engaged or married.
Okay,
But they were on Impact before this, and I think Cross was getting to be pretty high up on the card. He actually worked at Ring Warriors. He's the Ring Warriors Grand Champion. It's a wrestling promotion that I helped work at about 3 years ago. He's actually still our champion. But
that's crazy.
I could see him going back to Impact. Definitely, I think he and Scarlett that 91st day they're at Impact.
That would be really cool. I think he's an impact guy too because he's a guy that you can build around. Honestly, I really do believe that they've got some really good talent over there. Also, I forgot to mention I really like Brian Myers over an Impact too. He was obviously formerly Kurt Hawkins. I like his the most professional wrestler gimmick. I think that that's pretty cool. Um, I won't say too many other names here, like a Harry Smith. He'll probably just go back to working around a bunch of
I didn't
different
even know he
places.
was back.
Yeah, I seen that he had signed, but then it was like he worked like a dark match, and I was thinking they were gonna like bring him back in NXT 2.0 with like a Hart family gimmick, again, but yeah, just I guess they just didn't feel like he had a place anymore. Um, I think is the last thing that he did that was WWE related was when during Bret Hart's Hall of Fame induction speech, like you remember like that guy like jumped into the ring. He was one of the guys that like started feeding that guy with punches. So
Yeah.
that's the last thing he did, I think, in a WWE ring, which hey, props to him.
Hey,
That's pretty
yeah.
dope.
That's what a way to go out.
Yeah. So Nia Jax, very interesting one. Where do you think she'll end up?
Mm. I think she'll stay away from wrestling for a while. Honestly, I don't think I could see her in AEW. I don't think I could see her in Impact. I think her style is so WWE.
Yeah.
That's not saying that she can't go and own her craft in the next 90 days and get better. But as of right now, I don't see her going anywhere.
Yeah, see, for me, I think she'll be impact, but I don't think it'll be right away. I actually tend to agree with you quite a bit there. Eva Marie.
Uh, it wouldn't surprise me if she just stepped away from wrestling completely
Yeah,
at this point. She's another one that I think she could probably make a lot more money modeling, doing ads on Instagram, or doing whatever she's got to do. More power to her. But I think she's a little too good for wrestling at this point.
yeah. I tend to agree there also. We'll get to Keith Lee in a second, but Mia Yim, do you think that they'll be going to the same promotion? I kind of feel like they would.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, I know she was on Impact before. She's actually a former Impact Knockouts champion, I think.
Yeah.
I could see her going back. I could definitely, jumping the gun a little bit here, but I could definitely see him going to Impact, and I could definitely see them both going to AEW. It's just, it's one of those things. It's 50-50 either one.
I 100 million% think he's going to AEW. I think, and I don't know what the whole contract details are of who you can talk to, but we all know all these wrestlers, they talk. They talk to, like, Vince isn't tapping their phones, which I mean, maybe he is, who knows. But I think he already like, and again, don't quote me on this. Anybody that there'll be that one person that watches this, clip it and put it somewhere. We have no inside sources. I think he already has an AEW deal. Honestly, I think he's already signed a deal. Like he is too damn good. If you wait and wait and wait and wait, he'll sign somewhere. Like he'll get a massive offer somewhere else. Like he could go anywhere. He could go to Japan. He could go to Impact. He can do absolutely anything and he'll be a top star. They need to debut him on an AEW pay-per-view and he'll get a absolutely insane pop. Like he'll get a huge pop.
Oh
And
yeah.
dude, could you imagine they just do another Bray Wyatt debuts and then boom, here comes Keith Lee just in the same night. Again, they just do like the Cole Danielson thing. Dude,
I loved that.
Dude, like, by the way, that was insane to me. I'm not gonna lie, I popped a little bit more for Cole. Even though I wanted him to stay in WWE, dude, I popped for him so bad, bro. I was like, no way. It was so cool. But
I was so disappointed because I was like, oh, now Danielson's not going to come out.
and then
But
bid
then,
you adieu. And then Buddy just comes
dun,
out.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that new R&B hip hop Brian Danielson.
Still don't know what that is.
Yeah, that doesn't. I'm not into that one. The Adam Cole theme, I dig it, but
Oh yeah, that's probably the best theme in AEW right now.
yeah, dude, that thing is so dope. But yeah, no, Keith Lee, I think he's going to AEW. Like I said, I think he's already got a contract. I really
Yeah,
do. You can't wait. You can't wait with Keith Lee because if AEW waits till the last minute and then he's like, "Oh, well, I signed with Impact." It's like, oh, you had a huge star right there. Like
yeah,
Keith Lee, and again, this is what um MJF was even saying. He was like, AEW is like has like young stars that are gonna eventually take over the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like they're
yeah.
those older guys are gonna go away. Like Danielson's deal is only 3 years, and apparently that's his last contract, right? He said it's his last contract in wrestling. He said
I did not know that.
he's gonna go insane. He's gonna go like balls to the wall, crazy in all of his matches, and then he's gonna basically force himself because he's gonna say, I'm gonna make sure my body's like broken, and then I'll be able to heal up and my life will be good. He said that's his last contract. But like these guys won't be there anymore. And who knows, maybe some jump over to WWE. You never know. It could happen,
Yeah,
right? So I think a guy like Keith Lee is still going to be around to be a huge star because I mean, I think he's fairly young. I don't think he's that old, is he? Like, I don't even know.
he's like almost 40.
No way. I thought he was
Yeah,
younger than that. Well, I mean,
he
he moves like he's younger, so I still think he'll be around doing his thing. So,
yeah, I think so too.
yeah, like I think he's a guy like he could be like Bobby, where it's like Bobby Lashley looks like he could wrestle the next 10 years and he'll be fine. But
Yeah. It's all about
um,
preserving their bodies too. Because I
yeah,
mean, like he went through hell. I don't know if you saw the video he posted where he talked about like when he had COVID and he had some heart problems and like he went through it, man. So it wouldn't surprise me if he took a little time off. But I'm
yeah. I
excited
mean,
for
this
whatever he
90
does.
days, like it could really help him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just fully get himself into good shape. Like just get that cardio going every single day, see how far you can go. And then by the time that 90-day is up, and man, WWE, man, they're gonna feel the pain when he comes out and that pop he's gonna get because it is gonna be big because they're a pure wrestling fan crowd. He'll
oh
get a
yeah,
massive pop. Like
huge pop.
he'll get a huge pop. So I guess those are the people that we'll talk about. Anything else on the releases that you wanted to mention?
Not that I can think of right now. No.
So now it's just us waiting to see what happens. And on this podcast, we'll update you guys. And in the comments, you guys can update us as well. Like it's not just us saying everything. You guys can help us to tell us what's going on. But we'll be reading all the rumors and updating as much as possible. But I want to talk to you about your event that you went to, the WrestleMania pre-sale ticket event. So let me know, let the people know what that was all about and what's going on there.
Cool. So last night, WWE had a big WrestleMania ticket pre-sale party at AT&T Stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys play, my favorite football team. It was a completely free event to get in. They had advertised an appearance by The Undertaker, Biggie, Dewdrop, Reggie, The Street Profits, Nikki ASH, and Rhea Ripley. And every fan in attendance got one of these bad boys.
Oh, that's actually sick.
It's clear. And then on the back, there's a QR code that you could scan. You see Andy's reflection,
Yep.
but QR code, you scan it, and it'll take you to the to buy some tickets, whatever. That's not a plug. Uh, I got in there and I stepped on the field. Surreal. I don't know. I know you're not a big football fan, are you?
No, but I respect the sport and I'm a fan of a lot of players.
Yeah, and I mean, getting to step on the field
That
and
would
feel
be
the turf.
insane.
Yeah, it was insane. There was this great big Bootios box, the one that they came out of in WrestleMania 32. Took a picture next
Damn.
to it, doing the feed me thing like Ezekiel Elliott does. And then They had this great big WWE Championship belt that you could get a professional picture in front of. So I stood in the line, got my picture. They gave me a little card with a promo to go online and get it. Thought it was free, but you have to pay like $45 for a big package or whatever. And or they're trying to sell you like wallet size photos, and it's like this is just a little goof picture. You know, like I'm not going to
What?
go all out on this. If I was going to get professional pictures made, I go to J.C. Penney. You know, but I did I did the riddle pose like this.
Really?
And yeah, I got my little card, and then there was a ring. They were Rick the Sign Guy was there. Um, they were gonna do some NXT 2.0 matches. I remember at one point MSK, they're like the only ones that I remember that came out. And I was standing there. I was like the second row because it was like standing room only. And then I see in the end zone they have like 3 tables with these little WrestleMania backdrops. I'm like, okay, cool. That's where the autograph signings are going to be. I'm going to go run to one of the lines. So I jump in the middle line. I'm like 20th in line. I'm like, great. I can guarantee every dollar that I have in my bank account that it is going to be Dewdrop. So I'm like, whatever, screw it. I'm here. I'm having a good time. They let us in through the little ropes that we have to form a line around. And this guy behind me, he's like, I really hope it's not Reggie. I already met him. I was like, you know, it might be Dewdrop. He's like, I'll puke. So
He's
I'm
gonna
like,
puke.
I'm like, all right. And then they all 6 of them. There's like 2 like carts. You know, like whenever Undertaker got carted out at WrestleMania 27, like 2 of those, and they're all on the carts, and they start making their way to the tables. And then Reggie's like the first one. He's like walking around, you know, and then like he stops at the table that like I'm in line for, and I'm like, fuck. And then he pulls the chair out, takes the belt off around from his waist, puts it on the table, and I'm like, yeah. And then here comes Dewdrop right behind him. I'm like, great. So glad that I spent an hour of my time waiting in this line whenever Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley, literally the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life in person. Insane. 10 feet away from me, can't do anything about it. 10 feet away from me on this side is Street Profits. So I'm like, I'm just going to make the best of it. I walk up there. Dewdrop, such a sweetheart.
Mhm.
She extends her hand for the handshake. She says, how are you? I'm like, good. How are you? And she's like, that's a kick-ass t-shirt. Is that an original? Because I was wearing a Kiss t-shirt. And I said, no, JCPenney big and tall section. And she said, oh. And she was like, oh. And she's like, I haven't been in America that long, so Target's really been my shit. You know, they got everything. And then Reggie was like, yeah, I had to go to Target the other day because the airline lost my luggage. And then I forget what was said after that, but I smiled and thanked them. And they gave me an autograph sheet, but I gave it to a kid after the show. So I was like, it was like 6:50. The event was ending at 8. So I wanted to run in line and meet either Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley or the Street Profits. For whatever reason, I picked the Street Profits. I wish I would have gone and met Nikki and Rhea because literally every fan that went up to them, they had the biggest and most genuine smile on their faces. They looked so happy to be there.
Yeah.
And they just looked like that would have been such a nice experience. But I waited like about 45 minutes for the Street Profits. We couldn't take any pictures with anybody, I guess, because they wanted the lines to move along quickly. But I went up there, and Montez Ford had this red suit on with a red hat with like the brim around it, just looking way too dapper for that kind of event. Dawkins was there. And I walked up to him and I said, how are y'all doing? They were like, good. How are you? I was like, good. And then they were signing the sheet. This is the one that I kept. Sorry, kid, you didn't get this one.
That's dope.
But I looked at Dawkins and I said, what kind of 40 do y'all think I could get on this field? And Dawkins said, a 40? And I said, yeah, 40. Montez goes, shit, 4 flat. I'm like, I think you're being a little generous. And then Dawkins said, hey, I heard Omos can run a 4.5. And I said, hey, get me an Omos up here. I'll smoke him.
That's
said, all right.
amazing.
And then that's when I left.
Dude, that's amazing. They seem like good dudes. Like they seem like they're good dudes.
I could tell they probably would have rather been doing something else, but they were nice.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, honestly, man, like those events, it's like you're always scared because like I love the Street Profits. So if I went up to them and I got a bad experience, like I'd be very like upset. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. So like maybe you'll run into Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH somewhere else. But like, dude,
that was a
listen, man.
heartbreaker.
Dude, the thing is like sometimes like were you like a little like scared to like go up? Like were you like, oh, I can't like I don't know. Like I
Not
don't
at
know
all
if I
to
could
Reggie
talk
and
to her.
Doudrop. Not at all to Reggie and Doudrop. But I would have been so nervous going up to Rhea and Nikki. I would
Yeah.
not have known what to say.
Yeah.
I would have been tied over my words because, like I said, like TV does not do Rhea Ripley justice. I'm not trying to be like any like disrespectful or anything. I'm saying this genuinely. Like she is a very beautiful woman, and like I
Yeah.
would not have known what to do in front of her.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, that's happened. That's definitely happened to me before. Like when you get like really starstruck to meet a wrestler, like I told you before, like I was gonna meet Kevin Owens when he was in Ring of Honor when he was Kevin Steen, and I was too scared. I couldn't do it. I was terrified. I was like, no, there's no way I can do this. So then I met him before Monday Night Raw years later, and I was still terrified. Like I was like, this guy is like one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I'm terrified. I cannot talk to this guy. Um,
Dude, when I met Chris
but he was
Jericho,
great. He was
yeah,
great.
when I met Jericho, same thing. Like I was so nervous. I went to a Fozzy show, and I met him after the show. Like we were the only there was only us and like another group of people who like went over to his tour bus to try to get autographs. And like I just I was so nervous to meet him, and I was like, I don't know what I'll be able to say to him. But as soon as like I started talking to him, like I would not shut up.
Yeah.
I was like, we went to the show in Memphis when you came back in 2012 just for that. Blah blah blah. Oh, I was heartbroken when you turned on Shawn Michaels in 2008.
Dude, that's so funny because I remember like because like I always like read your tweets whenever you're going to like last night when you were doing that stuff at the wrestling thing. Like I popped when you said you're gonna meet Dewdrop. I was like, no disrespect, but I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, there's
Yeah,
literally no way that he's gonna meet Dewdrop. And then it
Dewdrop
happened.
and Reggie at the same time.
Yeah. But no, but I even remember when you met Jericho. Like I remember all these things. Like I can literally remember your tweets. Hell, you and I made videos on the It Begins thing. Like
Yeah,
we made videos on all these different things, like the Jericho stuff. Like we've made videos on all that. So yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm sure you're going to WrestleMania then, obviously. So
yeah,
um that was, dude, that's something I gotta cross that off the bucket list at some point, man. I need to go to WrestleMania. um I went to
yeah.
SummerSlam and I was pumped. I think WrestleMania would be a nice step from that.
It's an experience. I've only been to one, and it was the last one that was in Dallas. Um, but this will only be my second one, and the 2 night thing, I'm so hyped for that. I've never been to any kind of like big event with like 2 nights before.
Hmm.
So hopefully we get the same seats, and hopefully it's a better show than last WrestleMania that was in Dallas because that one was kind of a stinker.
Yeah, so hopefully that works out for you. But yeah, I think we're going to cut the listeners loose at this point. I think we've been going for quite a bit here. We discussed some really good topics this time as well. So yeah, if you guys are new here, again, make sure to like this, subscribe if you like it. If you didn't like it, let us know. Constructive criticism, you know what I mean? Like, let's not go crazy in the comments in terms of being rude. You know what I mean? Apparently, they're getting rid of the dislike button, which is weird.
Yeah,
It's not going to be public. We'll be able to see it apparently, but
right. Our
everybody
feelings
else
can
won't.
still be hurt, but
Yeah, but you won't see the viewer won't see it. You know what I mean? But yeah. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Do you got any last things to say here? Or
not that I can think of right now. Just thank you guys for listening. I hope you stick with us. Uh, my mind went blank there. But what I was gonna say is we're really enjoying doing this for you guys, and I hope you guys are enjoying listening to it as much as we're enjoying making it for you.
yeah, and we've got tons of content coming. We've got a lot of really cool ideas. So make sure to stick around. So again, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next podcast. Peace.